He's a legend in himself. He and his partner have invested in over 100 companies at this point, so he's probably one of the more seasoned investors in the history of the industry. And he also happens to know a thing or two about mining. So please welcome my next guest, Mr. Scott Walker. By the way, you guys sound like you're dead. Please welcome my next guest, Mr. Scott Walker.
Thank you, Pedro. So what I thought I would do today is give a quick 5 to 7 minutes on proof of stake mining and 5 to 7 minutes on proof of work mining, just so we kind of get the basics down. So the industry and Bitcoin, it was and is created based on something called proof of work. Now, proof of work mining is it's a pretty simple concept. Anybody, and it's completely fair. So anybody in the world who chooses to start their own mining can simply buy a computer, connect that computer, and whatever the amount of hashes or whatever the amount of power that computer delivers is exactly how much of the entire network you'll receive in rewards. The way the mining rewards work from Bitcoin, like Nick was saying earlier, is every 10 minutes, very much like a heartbeat. Every 10 minutes, a new block is released. And inside that block are all of the transactions that happened over the previous 10 minutes. And initially, when Satoshi first launched the Bitcoin network and the Bitcoin blockchain, there was one machine, Satoshi's machine. And literally, he mined every single Bitcoin for what we call the Genesis block. So for the first 4 years, that block delivered 50 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. So approximately 2.5 million Bitcoins were rewarded per year for the first 4 years. After those 10 million Bitcoins were in circulation, and obviously after Satoshi began, then we had a second and a third and a fourth. And as you can kind of start to imagine, if one machine originally got 100%, 10 machines would each split it up to 10% per machine. Now there are millions of machines distributed all over the world, all earning their fair share of percentage of Bitcoin rewards. And the way the blockchain reward system works for Bitcoin is very interesting. There's 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be. And the way we know this is because for the first 4 years, every 10 minutes are 50 Bitcoins. For the second 4 years, it's 25 Bitcoins. Then it goes down to 12 and a half. And now that we've had the fourth difficulty adjustment, it's now 6.25 Bitcoins every 10 minutes. So as you forward that, approximately 140 years from today, there will be no more Bitcoins left to mine. And so proof of work mining is basically, the reason that they use the word proof of work is you physically have to connect a computer to the network. That computer uses resources. Those resources are typically in the form of electricity, managing the equipment, literally plugging them in. I spent a very interesting couple of years. Originally, 2013 was kind of our first setup, but then we moved our facilities to Wenatchee, Washington, a very cold and lonely place because electricity is very inexpensive there. So, with that in mind, what has happened over the last, let's call it, with the advent of proof of stake, which was really, I'm going to say 2013, I think, or 2014 was when the first couple of proof of stake systems came into play. I know that Andrew Keys is going to give us a much more detailed explanation of where Ethereum is going to begin switching over. Obviously, the second largest proof of work network on the planet after Bitcoin is Ethereum. Ethereum launched with also a proof of work network that is slowly being transitioned into a proof of stake. And all I want to do is give the high level on proof of stake so that everybody can kind of get a basic understanding. And so the difference between proof of work and proof of stake in the simplest way of explaining it is, with proof of stake, instead of purchasing computer equipment, you actually take your investment or your funds of whatever type, and you purchase tokens in the network that you're looking to stake, okay? And once you own those tokens, you can lock those tokens and you will earn rewards very similar to mining rewards. So when you think of a proof of work network, you're literally taking a computer, plugging it into a network, and generating rewards from the use of electricity. When you think of a proof of stake network, you're purchasing tokens, locking those tokens into the network and becoming a validator or a staker and earning rewards from that instead. So over the last, I'm going to say 3 to 4 years, a large number of companies obviously forked and copied the Bitcoin network, and then a lot of companies came up with different unique ideas for how to launch a proof of stake network. So without getting into too much detail on that, I really just wanted to give the high level between the proof of work and the proof of stake. Time-wise, how much do we have left?
We have 2 minutes. 2 questions for Mr. Walker. Anybody got questions? No one has any questions? I'll have a question for you.
Shoot.
So, sir, mining. What is the future of mining past all Bitcoins being mined?
Oh, that's a good question. I believe that proof of work is important. I believe that there is a place for proof of work. My personal opinion is I don't think we need 10,000 different proof of work networks. I think Bitcoin provides that. I don't believe that there's necessarily a need for 1,000 other forks of Bitcoin running proof of work as well. So I believe that the future of crypto, not part of Bitcoin, is going to be in proof of stake. I think we'll learn a lot more of it once Andrew gets up.
Thank you so much, Mr. Walker. Let me get a round of applause, Mr. Scott Walker.